Hey everyone, and welcome back to Holding the Line, a Logistics at a Crossroads podcast. I'm Gia. In today's episode, we're diving into a critical topic that's been quietly gaining traction in the logistics industry: diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. It's a topic that's often discussed in corporate boardrooms and policy papers, but what happens when these initiatives are scaled back, or worse, completely rolled back? What happens when the hard work put into creative, inclusive, equitable environments start to erode? Well, I'm here to tell you, it doesn't just impact people. It impacts operations, morale, and the reputation of a company. And in this episode, we'll explore the real-world consequences of DEI rollbacks and what that means for the future of all industries. Now, DEI, it's a term that's lived in our onboarding sessions, corporate mission statements for years. But lately, it's disappearing. Sometimes quietly, but recently, abruptly. Companies are rolling back DEI programs. And for logistics, that has a real lasting consequence. DEI wasn't just a lip service. For many workplaces, it brought a cultural shift, a psychological safety, accountability, and a sense of belonging. For logistics in particular, it brought in people who think differently, who saw bottlenecks others didn't, or could translate diverse customer needs into nimble supply chain responses. Now, with programs disappearing, we're seeing a 32% drop in employee satisfaction engagement where DEI was cut, turnover costs soaring as much as 200% of an employee's salary, especially knowledgeable roles. And within those teams, we're seeing frustration, burnout, and silence. In short, it's not just morale, it's money. And when we lose money, we lose momentum. And let's talk about some big names, just that you've seen in the papers and articles. We'll start with Target. Target was once hailed for its DEI leadership. But at the end of 2024, it started quietly scaling back those initiatives. And by end of Q1 2025, foot traffic had dropped 9.5%. Share value plummeted from $142 to $94. And people say that's not even $100. That's $12 billion loss in market cap. And now, shareholders are threatening a lawsuit for misleading investors on DEI risks. Let's talk about Walmart. Walmart ended its racial equity programs in Q1. Now, the revenue still rose, but the backlash was swift. Especially from Gen Z and millennial consumers, they lost their trust. And it took a hit. And you know, when companies lose trust, it rarely returns. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it's hard to get it back. Even the broader Fortune 100, mentions of DEI in public reports have dropped 98% year over year. This tells us something. Companies are backing off DEI, but the public is now paying attention. And why now? Why the rollback? Well, early 2025, President Trump officially rescinded Executive Order 11246, which required federal contractors to commit to DEI goals. Now, though the Fourth Circuit later paused that order, the damage was done. Companies reliant on government contracts began scaling back quickly. Even private firms adjusted strategy, fearing political backlash or the litigation risks. A Littler-Mendelson survey found that 45% of employers feared being sued for DEI-related programs. But it also found 45% also planned to keep their DEI programs because they're fully aware of the long-term benefits. And that tension between legal caution and cultural responsibility, it's now reshaping our workplaces. So here's where logistics comes in. Now, we're an industry built on systems, speed, and people. And if you narrow our talent pipeline, if our culture pushes out the very people who bring in new ideas, we lose adaptability. And I'm going to bring it up. When the Suez Canal shut down, or when tariffs squeezed margins, who solved it? It was those diverse teams across the regions, backgrounds, and roles who found the answers. DEI isn't about being politically correct. It's about preparing your team for complexity. And right now, complexity is the norm. But what now? Let's talk about what we can do. Where can we go from here? Even as formal programs fade. Well, one, we'll recognize the silence. If your team's quieter than usual, start asking why. Run check-ins, because people often disengage when they feel unseen. This is a big one. For 2, model vulnerability. Leaders, you cannot hide behind metrics. You can't hide in your office. You need to show your own growth moments. You need to share them. Culture trickles from the top. And you need to promote psychological safety. And you're going to ask, what does that mean? Well, research shows that teams with high safety are 39% more profitable. Make it okay to fail, to challenge, to contribute. And in 4, embed DEI strategy. Don't isolate DEI. Make it a part of how you hire, you train, you reward, you listen. That's where the staying power is. And 5 is going to go back into 3. Be transparent. If changes are happening, say why. Invite feedback. Let your operators, your planners, your warehouse workers, let them be a part of the conversation, not victims of it. This is how you do psychological safety. You don't let them fear their job is going to disappear. This moment we're in, it's not just a rollback, it's a reckoning. And the choice in front of every company is this. Will we shrink? Or will we rise to meet complexity with the equity? If you're leading, ask, what would your company lose without DEI? If you're on a team, know this. Your voice does matter. Speak up. Ask the questions. Let's keep showing up, not just for freight, but for fairness. And until then, keep holding the line. And as always, remember, I'll be navigating the crossroads right along with you.